بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. B'Shem Elohim Arachman Harachum. In the name of the Lord, the most compassionate, the most merciful. What do we feel when we hear a language we don't understand? Or a story that contradicts with our own? Or a foreign sound that pull us out of our comfort zone? My name is Muhammad. It's a rare name. I don't like Arabic coffee and I don't play backgammon. And I'm in a long journey searching for an answer for the question, how can we end the Palestinian-Israeli bloody conflict? We're all living in a cruel war right now. Some of us have lost someone or know someone that lost someone. We're all living in the same reality, in the same pain. I'm honored to be on this stage to share with you my journey. Before we start, I invite you to open your eyes. See two girls speaking fluent Arabic, fluent Hebrew, playing chess, talking about their dreams, talking about their homework, planning a beach party at a sunny Saturday, talking about how complicated it is for them to live in this reality. End of the game, they shake hands, they go back to class. This chess game is a zero-sum game, like our reality, the way it looks today. Can we change that? Stay tuned. Now you can take a second, close your eyes, and breathe in. The journey is about to start. We're gonna travel into 3 different destinations, 3 different challenges, 3 different dilemmas. Please fasten your heart belts with compassion and tolerance. First stop, music. As a musician and a oud player, I had the privilege and the honor to play with world musicians around the world that came from different cultures, different genres. Musicians that played jazz, Arabic music, classical music, Indian music, African music, Jewish, Arabic, Muslim. And I was amazed by the world of harmony. This magical world of couple of voices played together at the same time without interfering one with the other. And I thought to myself, that's the answer. Let's learn from music how to solve our conflict. Let's learn from music how to create harmony out of conflicted voices. Back then, I didn't know how to read and write music, and I thought to myself, if I really want to dig into it, I have to learn it professionally. I did. And I realized that it's more complicated than what I thought. You see, in Western music, you can create harmony out of the Western musical scales, out of the Western musical sounds. Arabic sounds, my identity, were not welcomed. You see, quarter tones that there is in Arabic music cannot fit in Western classical music. Quarter tones like the ones that I'm going to play right now. Hold on a second. When I realized that my own music cannot fit in Western music, that made me even search harder for the question, how can we really make harmony out of conflicted voices? I realized that some voices, some narratives cannot be played together. Some voices can be played one after the other. The challenge is, how can we really listen to these voices? How can we give every voice its importance, its respect? With what I learned in music, let's go to the next station, next stop, theater. In the last 14 years, I've been part of the Jaffa Theater, the Arab Hebrew Jaffa Theater. I was part of a multicultural, bilingual productions that brought Palestinians and Israelis together on one stage. I learned that the essence of theater is good conflict. I was part of a production like Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo was Palestinian and Juliet was Jewish. And I learned that in order to really solve the conflict, we have to work together. And like the unity of opposites, the world that we live in is created out of opposite powers, out of contradicted powers. And this contradiction brings hard questions. Do we really need to see death in order to appreciate life? Do we have to get sick in order to appreciate health? These questions taught me that conflicts are great teachers. I mean, if Romeo and Juliet didn't have a conflict that stood between them and their love, they would have got married second page and Shakespeare would not be Shakespeare that we know today. Feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, all these beautiful contradictions. Shakespeare brought the beauty of conflicts and contradictions on stage. But our reality is not Shakespearean. There is no joy in watching bloody conflict take people's life, war after war. In real life, we only appreciate peace when we see the horrors of war. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a cruel teacher. It teaches us the very challenging lesson that we have only one destiny. How can we do it in practical steps? Let's go to the next station. Education. With music and theater in my backpack, I entered the field of education. I focused my research on the ethics and morality of the Educational Act. I learned that in order to try to solve the conflict, we need three major steps. First, we need to agree on some basic values. Let's say freedom, equity, and justice. Easy ones. And you may wonder, what do we do with people who don't agree with these values? That's where democracy comes in. A real democracy that knows how to respect these voices and create harmony out of these voices. Second step, we need to make sure that everybody, most of us, really believe in these values. How can we do that? In the philosophy of the human morality and ethics, in order to measure values, it's by our ability to fight for these values for every human being. That means if we believe in freedom, equity, and justice, we have to fight for freedom, equity, and justice for all. It means for a child in Gaza, in Sderot, in Jerusalem, in Be'er Sheva, in Jaffa, in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, in Tira, in Taibe, in Kfar Saba. They all deserve the same freedom, same justice, same equity. That's the only way we can create a reality where the freedom of one doesn't threaten the freedom of the other. Third and most practical step is to create a bilingual, multicultural educational system. It's very simple. If we want peace, we have to educate for peace. Do you realize that there is more than 5,000 schools in our country? Nearly 2 million pupils. And how many of these schools are bilingual, you ask? Only 9. Only 9 bilingual schools that bring Israelis and Palestinians together to learn since kindergarten to high school. The rest, separated. 2 separated systems, Jewish system, Arab system. This segregation creates a reality where we don't meet. Some of us meet Jewish or Arab person only when we're 18. It's too late. This fear that we live in is fed by the media that only spread violence and hatred. We live in a fear that if we learn together, we might lose our identity and our culture, but that's the key. It's the opposite. Kids in bilingual schools learn about their particular identity and learn about the other identity. They learn to be proud of their own identity and respect the other identity. You remember the 2 girls playing chess? Their reality didn't happen out of nothing. They come from 2 families, one Arab family, one Jewish family, that decided to send their most dear one to a bilingual school to change their life. And who's waiting for them in the class? 2 teachers that decided to work together, to teach together, to prove that we as adults can work together. When they enter the class, they start learning the story of Noah's Ark in the Quran, in the Torah, in the Bible, in the Greek mythology. These kids develop critical thinking. They develop awareness. They ask hard questions and they answer them. These kids start learning about each other. They can have a conversation about their political identities without the need to go to violence. I'm honored, and I have the privilege to be the principal of one of those 9 bilingual schools, the Aleph Beit hand-in-hand school right here in Beit Berl. It's our duty to make the change that we all want to see in the future. It's time to break the walls of fear that separates us. These kids, this generation, when they grow up, they become the next leaders that will change our reality. Leaders with courage, with passion, with acceptance, with humanistic connections. They will change our own future. It's time to change the circle of blood, the circle of fear, leading to hatred, leading to violence, to replace it with a different circle of listening, leading to understanding, leading to love, leading to actions, leading to change. We all have to do this change, even a small one, towards a better life. Shukran. Toda. Thank you.